Thank you for those very kind words. I always prefer the most minimalist introduction. I get asked all the time, what's my favorite title? You want to be called doctor, provost, chancellor, president? Tell everybody, please just call me Jeff, except two very special people who get to call me grandpa. I'm guessing there's nobody in this room that's going to qualify for that title selection, although I have 8-year-old twin grandchildren, so I'm really blessed. Well, Andy, thank you very much. It's been an amazing journey for me here as a Nebraskan by choice. As you probably heard, I grew up predominantly on the East Coast, had an opportunity to, uh, be a true academic cardiothoracic surgeon in the Harvard system, in the Cornell system, in the Einstein system, and it was always one of those things. We have something else to get done. Call Jeff, he'll do it. And in the category of no good deed goes unpunished, people lean in, and I'm really honored to have had that privilege. Uh, I thought a lot about the opportunity when I was asked to become the ninth president of the University of Nebraska system. An awesome responsibility. Awesome meaning a really heavy weight of responsibility to steward the future of the academic mission of this great university, to win a few more football games, but most importantly, to continue to grow the reputation, the distinction, the true excellence of this organization. And it is a truly excellent university system across all of our campuses. On September 5th, during the formal investiture, I talked about the odyssey from excellent to extraordinary. What is it going to take to become a truly extraordinary university system across all the sectors of agriculture, all the sectors of service, all the sectors of healthcare, whether it's on the gridiron or the hardwood, or whether it's in the clinics, whether it's in the research labs, all of that has to be on this odyssey, through Homeric odyssey to the extraordinary. And so when I was asked by Andy and others to speak with this group this morning and to do nothing more than provide a very brief introduction, I was really excited to do it. And the reason being is, although I grew up in the inner city of New York, and you'd think I know very little about farming and ranching, and you'd probably be right about all of that. Over the last decade, I have had the privilege of crisscrossing this state hundreds of times, meeting with farmers and ranchers, literally riding on combines, being involved in branding and processing plants, talking an awful lot with people in the cow-calf industry and in the feedlot industry, row crops, and so much more. Actually spent almost a whole day last Friday talking about extension services and what we can do to continue to grow, expand, strengthen extension, to redefine extension for what that's going to mean in the next decade. So I actually asked them two simple questions. What do we need to do to prepare for extension in 2035? And what do we need to do tomorrow to build extension into what it can be and should be, to better serve all of Nebraska as a network, by the way, of 83 unique locations with unique people, with unique roles across the nation. And so when I was asked to share a few words of welcome, so welcome, it's great to have you. Let me just ask you, how many of you in the room are Nebraskans? Are most of you Nebraskans? A good number of you are Nebraskans, but a good number of you are not. So if you're not, welcome to the greatest place in the country and one of the greatest places in the world. This is a unique community. You might wonder how a kid who grew up in the inner city of New York without two nickels to rub together ever ends up spending this many years in a wonderful place. And that's because it is just that. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to work. It's a place where there's a unique can-do attitude. And frankly, the thing about this university that is so attractive and so powerful is that all of us realize that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We're on a journey. We are on this odyssey, and that the amount of energy that goes into defining the future and building that future is absolutely critical. And so the area of food for health has always been a very interesting area for me, you know, going back to the very early days of nutritional support. And, you know, I spent a lot of my life doing neonatal cardiac surgery, 25 years of fixing babies' hearts, you know, who babies were like about that, and their baby's heart is about like that, size of a good sized walnut or a small lemon or lime. You get a lot of respect for the nutritional aspects because in many instances, cardiac development and overall development is very, very highly dependent upon nutritional support. And the need for that was never really fully understood, because you could do a perfectly wonderful surgical procedure and get an absolutely disastrous result if you didn't worry about the nutritional support that went into that. And over time, people started to realize that by adjusting the nutritional support and the balance between various types of nutrients, vitamins, supplements, minerals, etc., you could enhance growth and development, and you could strengthen muscle reserve, particularly cardiac muscle reserve, and change survival statistics in these kiddos. So the nutritional support is just as important as what happened in the operating room, and maybe in some ways, you know, a lot more important to get your patients into the best nutritional shape possible, do the best procedures you can do, and then make sure that you support them thereafter. And so when I became a Nebraskan, I became increasingly interested in the question of what do we do with our production industries, our large ag industry here, particularly corn and beans and wheat and other, you know, row crops that are influence the protein production, which then influence an awful lot of what we put on the table. And I became enamored with the idea that perhaps someday, right now, crop production is all about yield. It's all about bushels per acre, etc. But maybe someday it's going to be measured in impact on health. Maybe it's going to be measured in impact on life expectancy or quality of life. Maybe it's going to be measured in impact of prevention of inflammatory bowel disease, which is an area that I know Andy is working hard on in collaboration with the Med Center, or other outcomes that are critically important. And I see that as a reality. And I know that our communities here are very open to that, because through the better understanding of how what we raise on our farms and what we feed on our feedlots and ranches is ultimately going to determine the quality of life. You know, we're just talking to my newly found friend here, Conrad from Texas, about, you know, how I once spent many years of my life living on ramen noodles and mac and cheese. I bet you there are other people in this room who know exactly what I'm talking about as well. We had this little pot, my wife and I, and that was sort of our kitchen. You know, it was good for coffee, tea, oatmeal in the morning, ramen noodles, mac and cheese, and then it would get reset for coffee and tea and oatmeal in the morning. And that was sort of it. Throw in a healthy dose of Cheerios here and there, and life was good. But there's more to the nutritional aspect than that, and I'm hoping that conferences such as this really stimulate that kind of thought. So I've thought a lot about where we are today and what tomorrow might be. And as I think about it, there are two quotes that I will leave you with that really remind me of what I get to do every day. The first is actually an Abraham Lincoln quote that I'm really, really very fond of, and that is that the only way to really predict the future is to build it. And so if you're looking for people that have the vision as to what the future is going to look like, there are a lot of people who will tell you that. There are people who are futurists. Some of them are right, some of them are wrong, some of them are uncertain. Who knows? After what happened on Tuesday, your guess is as good as mine. But that's not the point. The point is that each of you in this room has the capability individually and together to see a future and to build it. And the second quote actually comes from my days in Ohio, where I worked in the shadow of the auto industry for many years, and so became a student of Henry Ford, who not only was legendary in the automobile industry, but had a number of very interesting artistic influences, political influences, philanthropic influences, etc. And he used to say, and I think it is absolutely true, as to whether you think you can do something or you think that you can't, you're almost certainly right. And so having that attitude about, one, being able to build the future, and secondly, having the deeply seated belief that you can do that, you can make magic happen. I have seen people, programs, institutions accomplish nothing short of miraculous change over a period of time. You know, I'll tell you just a little anecdotal story. As I think I said a few minutes ago, that I've been here just over 10 years. When I came here and became chair of the board of our health system, in quality and safety, we were ranked 93rd in the United States. Now, there are a lot of institutions that deliver healthcare in the United States, so being 93rd was not a terrible number. And in our peer group of Hopkins and Stanford and, you know, so many others, Cleveland Clinic and such small institution in Columbus, Ohio, I can never remember the name of that one, but we were 93rd in that group, you know, not so terrible. But that was not our goal. Our goal was to be in the top 10. And I will tell you that it took a dramatic culture change. It took a very clearly understood attitude that we could do this. And by the way, the Med Center employs 28,000 people. So it's not like it's about talking to 8 people and they change the way they think about things. But this is every nurse, every orderly, every technician, every physician, the environmental services people who shovel the snow and cut the grass. It matters not. Everybody needed to be focused on this goal. And we've been in the top 10 for the last 6 years. This year, we ranked number 6 in quality and safety in the United States. And, there used to be a sign, by the way, in Epley Airfield when the medical school was first ranked in the top 10, which has been ever since. But at that particular year, I think it was like 6 years ago, it said the University of Nebraska Medical Center College of Medicine is ranked 7th in the United States. And if you think that's good enough, you must not be from Nebraska. So we have a very aggressive approach. Our health system has been as high as the top 3rd. And the only reason I tell that story, and it's got nothing to do with me, and I want to be really clear about that, it's got to do with the 28,000 people who take care of patients and families every day. But it took a belief that they could create that future, that right here, we could be part of something bigger than ourselves, and we could have a vision that we could deliver that kind of quality care, the exact same quality that you and I would want every day for ourselves and for our loved ones. That's the simple metric. The goal is absolutely achievable. So with that, I wish you the very best in your conference today. I would love to actually sit here, but I have a command performance with our Board of Regents. If I had a choice, let's say Board of Regents and being here. That's like saying be here or, have root canal. Nothing against my dental colleagues. Andy, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you. All the best today. Congratulations. Knock it out of the park.